Microphone
Mic
check.
check, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hey, how are you
Can you hear
doing?
me? I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. It's Monday, spring break. No complaints.
I know it is spring break. When do the kids go back?
Next week.
Um. Okay. Yeah, mine's go back like the 20 something. It's like, oh dang.
Oh, they got
Okay.
they got a real nice break.
They got time.
They got time
Yeah. So
today.
you know what we doing? We getting boxes.
House
So
cleaning.
we gonna use this time wisely. No, we gotta move.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So
That's right.
even
That's
though
right.
it's a little and it's a little ahead of time, I'm like, they don't have to worry about getting up and down for school.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my friend to like get me some boxes, um, so we could just go ahead and start packing up all the winter clothes in boxes, totes and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
just getting ahead of the game.
Yeah. No need to wait last minute.
When we talk about even if today's topic, right? Is it easier? I don't know, but in terms of just making sure you don't overspend during times like this, preparation is everything.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah. All right. So let me just make sure I put this thing on a charger and put this thing on airplane mode. Okay.
What's going on,
I'm
ladies
like
and
for
gentlemen?
real
This is the
show.
real deal versus how you feel. When you please come in, go ahead and wipe your feet off, get something to drink, show a little bit of love, a little support on this good Monday. Because yesterday was a good Sunday. Now today is a good Monday. We're gonna keep the good thing going. If it was playing music, it'd be good music too on top of that. Actually, it was good music last night. So if you missed a verse battle, then you were asleep because it was the Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Ozzy Brothers, and the Ozzy Brothers hand down took it. Sorry, Earth, Wind, and Fire was good though, but you can't. Ron Isley and Ozzy Brothers, that's a done deal. But we'll continue the good, the good flow. So today is Good Monday. So we're here today.
I like it. I like it. Good Monday. Start a new narrative, right? Change the narrative.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Keep the flow. Keep it going. I mean, that's an affirmation, right? If you start every day and you put good in front of it, I mean, that kind of commands the day right then and there. Like, it's Good Monday, folks.
Also wake up in a
Ooh,
good
I thought
mood.
Mondays were supposed to be bad. Yeah, right. It kind of changes that. Like, yes. All right. We can make that a thing. Start hashtag Good Monday.
Hey,
You know.
I'm with that. I mean, it makes sense for you, Miss I Speak Live. It goes right with the name, so it's only but right that you. Hold on 1 second here. It's only but right that you use, you say good, good Monday, because Miss I Speak Life. Let that name work.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Mhm. Mhm. Let me get some coins attached to this name.
hey, lock it down right now.
Right, right.
So somebody do try to come in out of nowhere talking about, oh yeah, I miss Speak Life. No, you're not. This name has been here since
No,
XYZ. We got the record showing it.
since back in the day.
Kick
Dang, when I
rocks.
think about how long, that's really interesting.
Tell them go and
It's
kick
been a good
rocks.
journey,
It has with no
right? With no
socks.
shoes on.
Yeah, no socks.
No shoes either. Right, no socks or shoes. All right. Twinsinc is glad. I'm glad to be back. Like you said, it's good vibes. Good Monday, following our good Sunday, following our good Friday. Just keeping it all positive.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and we here today to get into it. We talking. Is it easier to reach financial freedom, single or married? Is it easier? And of course, we're not saying that a single person can obtain financial freedom. We're not saying married couples can obtain it. We're just saying which is easier in our perspectives and your perspective. And, just have a talk about it. Let's see, because there's a lot of back and forth about, marriage solely helping our community, but no plan as to say what type of marriage, how that's going to work. Are people just supposed to go and be married and all? That jazz, what that looks like. You got people out here now trying to court and don't even know why they trying to court. They don't even know themselves fully, but that's okay. We're not getting into that right now. Just right now, we want to talk about financial freedom, right? And I think financial freedom, well, I'll start with saying financial freedom is definitely an independent goal, and it's subjective to the independent person, because what you deem as free may not be what I deem as free.
Oh, that's a
And
good
I
one.
say that,
Hmm.
yes, yeah, because I know freedom has a definition, and I get that. But a sense of freedom, right? A mindset of freedom, different things, when we talk about individual, like it may mean and look totally different. I think I shared this with you guys before, maybe on another platform, where though I'd prefer, well, let me just not say I prefer, because we're talking financial freedom.
Right.
So if you haven't obtained financial freedom, and let's just say we're at that financial comfort level that we talked about, not financial survival,
Right.
right? But comfort. And let's just say something happens, you had a something where your bank, your savings was needed for whatever that rainy day is, right? And now all your bills are paid. You had this rainy day experience, your boiler blew, you caught your something on the car went, or whatever, a pebble hit the windshield and cracked it. That's just like $300,
Woo.
whatever the case is, right?
You better have insurance.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Or yeah, you got to have insurance, but you didn't expect your insurance goes up when you file that claim.
That's true.
But regardless of what it is, you were able to handle it, right? The money was there for you to handle it.
Right.
But at this point now, you have no money in your account. You know what I mean? And when I say no money, I don't mean $0. Yes, I've been to $0, but I won't be to $0 again in life. So that don't count. That goes back into survival, right? I think that's still in survival of financial survival. So you have like whatever your cushion number is, right?
Right.
All right, this is kind of like getting to the wire. I would much rather be there, or I would be okay with being there as long as the bills were paid, whatever came up was paid, and not have that money to go get, oh, something new just came out, just dropped, and I want to go get it. Or, I have an event coming up and I wanted to buy something new and wear something fresh, but I got
Mhm.
a whole walk in closet full of clothes. Like, I'm okay with going inside of my walk in closet and figuring something out, mix and matching, or, creating a new style from an old look. I'm fine with that versus, you know, that pressure people feel
Mhm.
when they, their desires or their lifestyle is different. It's like, do I pay my bill or do I go get this dress, or do I do I go get this bag or something crazy, or just not plan ahead enough to have the rainy day cushion. So now you're taking from your bills to take care of whatever just happened, the car, the boiler, whatever.
Okay.
So when you talk about individually, those things may be fine for me, but you may want to have money in your pocket all the time. So you'll let the late bill come in if it's going to cause you to have to come out of pocket. You want to see the money in your account,
Mhm.
period.
Right.
And there are some people like that as well, right? Regardless of what, look, we're not paying that bill. If it mean that $500 got to be touched, we're not touching it.
Right.
And so that's why I say freedom, could have a different um, a little different look for everyone individually.
I agree. I
So
agree.
when you say financial freedom, what does that say to you?
For me personally, Twinsinc, for financial free, I think about fire, and some people may know what fire means, but fire means financial independence, retire early, and that means that at a certain age, not a certain age, but at a certain point in my life, I can save 70% of my paycheck and still survive very comfortably, and that's being financial freedom. I'm not there yet, but that's the goal that I want to be, and
Hmm.
that's a big deal. So you think about saving 70% of your paycheck put to the side. That's when you'll be at
Hmm.
that fire state. And once again, that's
Let
financial
me see.
independence, retire early.
Is that a biweekly 70%, or monthly 70%, or annually?
Um, I want to say just period, depending when you get paid, you know. So right now we're currently working, right? Because you can still be
Hmm.
fired even you can still be fired. Get it? Hot fire. You can still be fired
Mhm.
while working, right? So you can be financial free and still working for a company, and then when you get paid every 2 weeks,
Mhm.
you take in 70% of that check that you receive, and you put it up, and you live off the 30%.
So you saying each check. So my check, right? You say take 75% of it?
70%. Now, if you can do 75, you can
Oh,
do, but 70.
70%.
70%.
Okay. So look, guys, you know this how we do. I'm trying to see what this would look like off the bat if I could live off of 70% of my each pay.
Each pay. So, like some people right now, they're just saving 10%, or some people are paying 20% per check to themselves right now. But let's bump it up to 70%, and you live off that per check.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that at this moment, but I would love to do that. I think with if I include other all of the incomes,
Hmm.
then yeah. But my 9 to 5, it would be a no.
And right, and then
I wouldn't
also,
be able to live off my 9 to 5 at 70%. So when we talk about that, like what are some ways of accomplishing this 70% goal? I know
uh,
you said you're working on it.
yeah. So to accomplish these goals, one, you have to have, no debts, meaning no car loans, no student loans, no mortgage. Only thing that you're gonna be living off is just the stuff you gotta pay monthly. Gas, water, electric, things you can't pay off. Right? You got to pay those yearly based on the services. So that's what that means when you at that fire level, which is financial independence, retire early. Is that you have no debt, you owe nobody, no credit cards, no nothing.
So where did you start? Because we're solution driven. And if we had to start, and this is again, guys, we're trying to see is it easier to do this married or single? And you have someone on the line that's married and single.
So
So
in this
let's
scenario
talk
here,
about it.
I would recommend
Mhm.
I will recommend single, because
Mhm.
the reason why I say single, I believe everyone should be at their best level, their peak level, their best you in your life. So when you are joined with someone else, you know what I'm saying, you can either help them get to where they need to be, or y'all both at the same place, and then y'all can live comfortably, right? But I would say, this is something that is not taught in school. It's not something taught until you get to college, or not even that. I mean, really, it's really taught from your parents based on the information that they know, so they can teach you. Because they don't teach you about credit cards. They don't teach you about debt. They don't teach you about IRA, stock, none of those things in high school, and not even college, unless you go into the accounting per se, right? So by the time you learn these things, you're by then already kind of in debt. You already use your credit card. Like for me personally, when I got my first credit card, I didn't buy a car. I didn't do no crazy stuff. I bought college books. I spent over $500
Mhm.
on college books. That was my first purchase with my first credit card that I had, which was probably Capital One. And but there was no education about it, about using it and then paying off right away. I got the credit card, and I was paying the minimal balance. Okay, long as I paid, but yeah, the education part is very key. But as I'm saying, you want to be like, so what would start as that. I mean, if you know at a young age about your finances, you will look at things a lot differently based on the education and who's teaching you and how you're seeing it as well. Because if I can do a reset button all over and go through life the same path, but with the knowledge that I know now, I wouldn't get caught up in cars. I wouldn't get caught up in, you know, well, luckily me, I went to a college. I went to a program called Job Corps, so I only had like $5,000 total overall with college debt. So my college debt was nothing. But I'm saying that with the knowledge I have now, I wouldn't have no debt at all for a student loan, which I don't now. But I wouldn't have any car note, mortgage. I probably still have a mortgage, but I probably be able to pay it off much sooner now. Because right now, about 40 years
Hmm.
old, have a whole family. I got my debt, my wife's debt, kids all included. So I'm trying to do all that right now with 4 people. But the knowledge, if
But
I,
you still one person, it sounds like.
yeah. So if knowing what I know now, if I knew this before I got into marriage and everything else, I would have been at different
Hmm.
levels than I am now while being married, if that makes sense.
Right, right. But you would have done you so you're saying you would have been a different level
Mm-hmm.
prior to marriage.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you as a man, but you as a man, I think the goal is a little different too, because if your wife were participating at the same level that you're participating, when you think marriage, you think partnership, right?
Right.
Some people, okay? I'm not
Yeah.
saying everybody, but just as it pertains to the goal, if the goal is financial freedom for us, right?
Right.
So this is Ms. I Speak Life Take, guys. You don't have to subscribe. If the goal is financial freedom for us as a married couple, this is solely a married couple because we both have stake in the game. Now, if the goal is financial freedom, then I think that our finances as much as possible should be aligned so that we reach that goal quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sooner we reach that goal, then the easier we'll be able to realign things going downward, right? Going down the line.
Well, it
I,
depends.
I wouldn't want it to be on just one person and think that we could obtain the goal. And yeah, that's just me.
Well,
I would then say if it were me and my husband, or if it was me, I'm courting and we're getting married, we would be planning for financial freedom based on our financial access and resources now. Meaning, if I have a housing, what do you call it, resource,
mm-hmm.
that would be looked at as part of the income, as part of a means to reaching a goal, right?
Right.
Right. So I would want to share. I would want to um be in assistance with my husband, fiance. As long as that's the goal. When this begins, we'll
Mm-hmm.
be married. But as that courtship, fiance ship part happens, this is where we would be planning. Okay. Well, I have assets here. I have access to this as a resource, which is, listen, it's an asset. Or I have this other third. So when we put all of our resources, assets, and funds together, we should be, if not at financial freedom, close to. Now, if we start at financial freedom based on what you're saying in terms of fire, it's sustainable, right? Once it's achieved. Or
Mm-hmm.
is it something you have to keep working at?
No, I mean once you achieve it, then you're good. I mean only you can mess it
Yeah.
up by getting like, oh, let me get this car note. You can mess yourself up, but
Right, right,
yeah.
right, right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like one of those types of goals that is a wheel. It's not like, oh, let me, this type of goal where I have to keep chipping away at it before I actually accomplish the goal. I think that's part of it, right? We're chipping away at financial comfort to get to financial freedom. But once we obtain financial freedom, I mean, maintain the lifestyle like Twin said, then man, listen, that's it. There's nothing else to be done as long as no health concerns, something major comes and kind of derail you. But even with that being said, if you're saving up 70% of your income, that should be able to hold you for a few years, right? In the case something happened.
Yeah.
Not to mention if you're smart, you got life insurance, 401k, Roth, and those things as well. Dismemberment, death benefits, and stuff like that. If something happened, you lose a leg or arm. So you're still getting money from that and still not tapping into your cycle of funds either. So that's another quick tidbit. I don't know if anyone is aware of that.
All right. So I'll say this. One of the challenges with doing it with another person, right? So let's say it's marriage, right? You get into a marriage. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I'm gonna speak for me personally. So when I was before I got married, I mean, we had conversations as far as what we wanted to do and save money, but I didn't ask questions like, "Hey, what is your credit score? Hey, how much money do you have saved up to the account? Hey, what will you do if for some reason I get fired?" Like those conversations I did not have prior to marriage, right? So once you do get married,
Even with counseling.
yeah. So even so, when you do get married, right? You know that you are married. Everyone's everyone has their own identity, right? So when you get married, it's not
Hmm.
instant. Y'all gonna jump in line together and y'all gonna do the same thing at the same time, just like clockwork. It's not that easy. You got two individuals who were brought up in two different ways, have their own mindset. Most of the time, both people are very independent in what they do. Now they gotta come together, and one person gotta be the lead, and the other person gotta follow. However that goes, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
That's not the topic today.
Mhm.
But at that point, though, people have spending habits. People do things certainly different. So if I get with you and then we start talking and we married XYZ and I find out, okay, what's your student? We're married now. So what's your debt? Oh, I owe about 20 grand in student loans. What you? I got about 5,
Ouch.
right? So those things right
I thought I
there.
was that.
So those things right there right away is something that prior to marriage I didn't really think about because I wasn't educated on, right? And people that was influenced my life, that was something that wasn't brought up as far as the conversation we should talk about as far as premarital counseling and even door counseling. So it's learning on the fly. But yes, if you do get together with somebody and y'all both got jobs, it sounds like, hey, you got a job, I got a job, no kids, no kids. All right, we're gonna make this money. It sounds easy, sounds great, but everyone may not have that same discipline that you have. So that's why I say,
Mhm.
being single may be a lot easier because it's only you that you have to worry about, and you can discipline yourself. I think I save a lot more money when I was single compared to when I'm married, because as a man, I don't need much things to survive. I don't have to buy new clothes every week. I don't have to get new shoes every week. Hell, I wear one pair of shoes for a whole year. I just know how to keep them clean. I have one pair of tennis shoes, one dress shoes, and one pair of boots. Boom. That's all I need.
But then
And
also, sorry to interrupt, but you're also taking on the responsibility of the other person.
yeah,
So it would be different if you guys were meeting each other in this responsibility for this goal that you both would have. And I think that's the disconnect, right? Whose goal is it to obtain financial freedom? And then, like you mentioned, is it both of your, if it's both of your goals and one is, let's say, less disciplined than the other, then wouldn't that lead position be in the hands of the one that's more disciplined? But your income would still be funneled to our goal. Your assets and your resources will still be used for our goal. But you of course, you're gonna say I mean, of course, your outcome is that you personally are gonna spend more married than you were single because you're taking the responsibility of the entire household.
hmm
So yeah, I mean, now you're not just fending for one, you're fending for four.
yeah, that's two.
Now, that's where I think that is harder, even or it's similar but harder if you're married and that's the dynamic. But at the same time, you're that one person and that single person is also that one person. So whereas though in some instances your wife's income may assist the household, right? It may just be to take care of those extra habits she may have, right? So you're not putting money into additional habits, but you're still fronting all of the household income. I mean, overhead, all of the, additional activities, that overhead for the kids, whatnot, whatever, things like that. In addition to whatever your habits are, whatever your spending habits, whether it's into your business and things like that, depending on where you are with your business. If your business can provide for itself right now, or if you're still in the beginning stages. Those of us who are entrepreneurs understand the phases and stages of being an entrepreneur. So,
hmm
right, your income may have to fund it you have to invest in yourself, period. So, with that being said, what would make it what would make it difficult for that single person is they don't have that option, I guess. Like, you
What you
still
mean?
have the option to go to your wife and say, you still have the option to go to your wife and say, hey babe, you know what? I know this is how things have been going, but I looked at this and we're so close to obtaining financial freedom. We're like 3 years shy. If you give me 2 years of 50-50 or 2 years of whatever, right? And we'll be boom, I can finish us out by this time. Like, where you still have an option to do that. I'm just saying that's an idea. I don't
Yeah, the
know if that
partnership.
makes sense for you, but
Yeah.
yeah. So you still have that option, and I think that's the only thing that makes it difficult because the single person doesn't have that option. Whatever goes on, good, bad, or indifferent, it's just on them.
Oh yeah, but but as far as being a single person though, you can have multiple jobs. You don't have no responsibility but yourself. When I was
Oh, you
single,
yeah.
I had multiple jobs. You know what I'm saying? I was always working all day. So, you know what I'm saying? It didn't take much for me to survive or maintain myself, you know? I mean, when I sit here and look back when I was single, at the time frame, right now it don't seem much, but at that time frame, I had two cars, both were paid off. I had at that time I had it was the fun house, so I had a big 40-inch rear projection TV when it first came out, so that was a big deal. Had the fish tank, had a PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo GameCube. I had everything that I wanted, and it was to the point where I had so much money. I was like buying stuff just because, you know what I'm saying, I had the money. I had a party every week at my spot because I didn't have the knowledge that I know now that I could have been saving money at that time frame. I could have been investing in things at that time, but I didn't have the skills and knowledge to know about that. But if I did run into a jam, I do overtime. I'm working 10-hour days, 12-hour days. You know what I'm saying? If I could get a second job, that wasn't a problem. So there really wasn't a problem at all. I mean, it's much easier to grind on your own than once you have a family, because then while you have, like you said, I have a wife, so I have a wife and two kids, so I can maintain all of them, and on the same time put money to the side for the kids for their future. You know what I'm saying? Plan for them, make sure they're set up properly, but at the same time still digging myself out of debt at the same time. So it's much harder once, you know what I'm saying, once you're with someone else. You know what I'm saying? But it can be done. But like for me personally, I would recommend anyone, male or female, get yourself, be the best version of yourself. So before you mingle anybody, be the best version of yourself. Make sure your credit score is 800 plus. Make sure you have $10,000 in the account. Make sure you have things set up properly. So when you do meet someone, finances won't be a discussion, won't be a problem at all. And if you do get with somebody who needs that help, guess what? You'll have the resources to help them. Not saying you got to pay their bills for them, but you can help them and
Right.
guide them and show them how
Educate them. Right.
exactly, and without the stress. So you can still keep working, doing what you're doing, but then you can throw a little money to them. It's like, all right, I'm help you. Okay, let's tag team. I'll pay this credit card, you pay that credit card. Okay, deal, boom, and it works together, and it's all fun. But if both y'all jacked up in y'all finances, good luck. Good luck.
Right, right, right. Who's gonna help whom? The blind leading the blind.
Exactly.
I think what you said, I fully agree. Especially if the two adults doesn't have any children, and we do know we live in a society where that number is depleting, where the majority of folks have kids at some point, right?
Right.
When you're talking about marriage ages, right? So um, yeah, so I agree. I think that single, if you're not already in a bad position, if you're fresh, like when I say single, I'm looking at it from the lens of my kid who will be 18 in 2 days. Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh. Got you a young
So
man.
what's the best all right? What's the best way to prepare for financial freedom if you have the information at 18? Now, Twins Inc., if you and I had this information at 18 years of age, I mean, I don't know if I would have two children, let alone
Right, that part.
I don't even know if I'd be a mom, let alone, I don't know. I don't know what life would be like. I mean, for the most part, I'm cool. Even as a mom, I am a different type of mom. I still experience life on all of its terms, travel, and have a good time. As an adult, I live an adult life. Put it like that. Even as a mom, but
Hmm.
with the financial freedom and earlier years of this, I think that I wouldn't be having this conversation of how to build my soon to be 18 son financial freedom. I think he'd be in financial freedom, if that makes sense.
No, no, I got it. It makes sense. 2,000%. I fully understand.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of, you know, getting the information to start him off, but still not from a place where I've done it. I'm still working through it on my own because there's things that have damaged my situation. Now I got to clean it up, then build. But he doesn't have anything to clean up. So that's the benefit. He gets to start from a clean slate.
I mean, yeah. I mean, technically,
So,
he has a clean slate right now. I mean, he may not have like the savings and everything possible. I don't know the situation, but I'm just saying, like right now, he's 18. He about to step into this world, and he doesn't have like debt right now, right? He doesn't have credit cards. He don't have crazy student loans. He doesn't have a car that he's paying off right now. So right now
Mhm.
he's right now he's I mean you know he may have gotten all the information. Like I'm not saying you didn't teach it. I'm just saying it's overall for the listeners out there who's listening who have an 18-year-old
Yeah.
son as well. Right now, it doesn't matter at what age you teach them, but right now 18, if they're about to leave and start life and they have nothing, that's good. That's still a plus because they have no debt. But now at this point now you can help them and you know try to educate them and start 'em in the right path so they don't go down the route say, oh man, get you a credit card and go ahead and get you some clothes and this and oh, let's pay the minimum balance. No, that's the worst thing you can tell any young person. No, you get a credit card,
Mhm.
you only use it if it's an emergency, or you only use it if you know you can pay it off like the next day. So if you spend
And
$200 and you got
right.
$200, you spend it right there and you pay it off, and your credit score will go up. Like those things you need to.
Mhm.
Those are the things that need to be taught to our
Those
youth.
are disciplines that need to be practiced. And
Yes.
that's what I told my son.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I said, because we're not under the typical cultural, you turn 18, you get kicked out, you know,
Yeah, we changed that
type of
narrative.
lifestyle. We don't live
Right.
that here. Yeah, we change the narrative. Your 18th year, instead of it being your 17th year, your 18th year is your adult year here in the house before you go away to school. So what that would look like is I had already started, this year, his 17th year with issuing him bills. Okay, you want new games? He had to buy his own PS4. He had to buy his own games for it. He had to buy, so you do whatever job you have to do, whether it be detailing with, this one or that one, or you work this job, or you get paid for this here or there. But I'm trying to get him to understand consistent income, right? Because when you have consistent income, I think that's a motivator too. You'll tend to want to accomplish more and, obtain more. So I think that's where we having like a little bit of a thing, because now it's no pressure to leave, but at the same time, and no pressure to leave and no pressure to like take care of the house.
Right.
Like, okay, well, you're just taking care of yourself in the house, but you've been taking care of yourself in the house based on your needs. You just don't have a lot of needs. You just like a video game and a bag of sunflower seeds. If I told y'all for real,
Back
if
of
you asked
sunflower
me,
seeds.
no, twins. I
No,
asked
I'm
my
laughing because that
son.
used to
Well,
be
my
me.
daughter asked my son, right? But my daughter asked my son moments ago, just moments ago, what do you want for your birthday? Because I'm trying to decide if I should do the car. And he said he want 10 bags of seeds and two video games
Listen, see,
and
so
money.
so proper example. Oh, he did say money. He did say money.
Eventually,
Oh,
she said, and
eventually,
he said money.
of course. But I mean, overall, it kind of proves the point where I said at the beginning of why I'm saying it's easier for you to be single and take care of yourself, at least from a man's point of view, right? Because we don't need much. You know what I'm saying? When you ask him what did he want, he could have said anything. He said, "Man, give me 10 bags of sunflower seeds and I'm good." In a video game, that's all I need. I'm good. Like he didn't say I want no Jordans. He didn't say I want a new computer,
Right.
a new iPhone. No, he said no. I just 10 bags of sunflower seeds, which they're like $1 or something. You can probably go to Sam Club and get a big case for
Two
them. Like here
dollars
you
and
go.
19 cents, but yeah.
Right.
Right.
But it goes to the point. It goes back to what I said. Like I don't need much. Like when I was living by myself, I mean, listen, this is what I had in my freezer. I had hot pockets, and I had all type of flavor. I had pizza, hot pockets, had
Oh
dinner,
my
breakfast,
gosh. You
oodles
sound
and
like my
noodles,
son.
oodles and noodles, right? Kool-Aid, because they used to make Kool-Aid back in the day. You pour all the sugar in, stir it
You
up. Yeah,
make tea now though.
yeah,
Now
yeah, tea now, but for real, microwave food, quick stuff. I mean, for young men, we live like cavemen. We don't need much. So that's what I was saying. What I'm saying, if the young man has the knowledge about saving money and put it to the side, living that same lifestyle, you can survive, and make sure you don't go in debt and buy stuff that you don't need. And that's why the
yeah.
education is
Part
so
of me
important.
is
Go
still
ahead.
trying to understand that it is. You're right, but the other piece is how do you then implement the practice of the leadership role, right? Not necessarily saying you already know me, so I'm not teaching my son to be a man for no woman. That's not what's happening here.
Okay.
But in terms of the adult responsibilities for any single person on their own, how and when do you start to implement that? Okay, well, rent is a cost, PSE&G or whatever electricity company and gas company in your area, whatever water company in your area. These are just basic bills. This is just your basic overhead.
Well, I mean, I think
So
you're doing it right now, technically, right? So, I would say at the age of 16, that's when they can go out there and get a job, right? But prior to 16, what I'm saying, when kids want things, they feel they just ask for it and get it. No, you make them earn it, and that's doing chores and do those things, right? To teach them life skills. So, but at the age of 16, when they're able to get a job, that's when you start giving bills to pay. All right, here's your cell phone. You pay this bill, right? And you don't
mhm.
pay for them. You give them the bill. Here's a due date. You know what I'm saying? They shove a checking account so they know when to pay it. So they shouldn't. But oh, my phone's cut off, mom. Did you pay it? No. Okay, I guess you better call and pay then. You
So
know what I'm
at
saying?
18, you mean at 18,
No,
right? Because at
16.
16, how
I
could they have?
I say
Oh,
16
see,
because
it
16.
depends on where you live too. Because some people in some areas you can't have a bill at 16.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
at
yeah. It's
16, I
cool.
had bills. 16, I have a car note, insurance, and cell phone bill. Those are
Yeah.
three bills I had. But I say 16 because at 16, that's when most people can get a job. Now, it may have changed. I don't know. My kids ain't 16 yet, but I'm just going through my life experience. At 16 years old, where I was able to get a job at McDonald's, once I got a job, then I had to pay bills. My bills were my car insurance, my cell phone bill, car insurance, and my car note. That's all the three bills I had because those are my things. And so I had to work and keep them. So that'll teach me about handling bills and resources. And I never had to ask mom, oh mom, can you pay this bill? No, because that was my responsibility. If I didn't pay something, it got cut off. Guess what? It got cut off till I paid it. But
Where now in these times with COVID, right? People aren't really, jobs are at home. There's a lot of WFH employers and employment happening. Even with college. My son was saying the other day when we were talking to the family, one of the main or the best parts of going to college, he's not going to be able to experience because of COVID. And that's being on boards, applying, joining a fraternity, possibly.
mm-hmm,
When you get to engage and you get to socialize and experience different cultures like for up close.
right.
Most times that's where you experience that. So he was saying, the whole point of me agreeing to go to college, even though I know it's a systematic thing, was the whole other part that I'm not going to be able to experience now. So he was like, so yeah, I don't know. And he was talking to the counselor because he has the full ride to Rutgers, so they're trying to find out, well, what do you want to do? And look, twins. When I tell you, the boy was like, well, I really don't want to do nothing here in a way, but trying not to be rude. Like my whole thought process about college is shifted. So that's not a motivation in terms of getting up and getting it. We got people who are affiliate marketers and all of these different things going on that don't really say college education. So I do find myself trying to, continue to motivate him to go ahead, obtain whatever degree. It's only going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. But his argument is, what about my time? And I'd be like, well, you can go reclaim your time. I'd be like, you can reclaim your time. That's the thing now. Since what's her name from the political party?
I don't know who.
Uh, I can't think of her name, but she was like, I'm reclaiming my time.
Oh,
I'm reclaiming my time. Anyway, yeah. So someone starting off on his age, I think it's still a little different from when you were starting off at his age because of the society we live in now.
that's true. I cannot disagree with that. I mean, the new way we're living now is definitely a new. It's definitely not difficult, but it's definitely new from what we know, right? So school, working, just being around being social around other people. Those things, these kids won't have that experience now because everything is just remote,
Right.
But let me add this too. So, 'cause I said a lot about being single and saving. Now, being married as well, and you have two people both working, you can save money very quickly, and it can be very fun. So when me and my wife,
Fun.
yeah, very fun. So I'm explaining. So when I had my first child, well, I didn't have my child, my wife had the child, but when she was carrying the child, we knew we wanted to buy new things for the baby, right? And at that time frame, we was already
Hmm.
putting money to the side. I think we was like doing $100 per check, right? So $200 a month, right? And then once the baby came, it kind of recharged us a little bit, right? So now, once again, we bumped it up to start doing $200 a piece. Now, once it got over $1,000, then it became very fun because we wanted to see how much we can get, how much we can put to the side within like 6 months. Because she was
It
still working at
became
it.
competitive.
Yeah, it became competitive. So, long story
Mm-hmm.
short, it got up to like $10,000 in those 6 months that we put to the side for the baby. And then when the baby was here, we bought all new stuff, crib, couches. I mean, then about all brand new furniture. But what I'm saying
Nice.
is that when you have two people who's committed to saving and have a goal, and first you start out small, but once you see the account grow, it's like once it hits a certain amount of money, for me personally, I get more charged up, and I want to throw more money inside in the account,
Mm-hmm.
and it became more competitive. Like, how much you gonna pay now? Shit, I got 300. What you got? All right, I got 325. All right, the next pay. What you
Mm-hmm.
got? I got 400. You know what I'm saying? It got that competitive, but it was fun. But also, we save money very quickly, and so if
But
you
you
have,
were still able to maintain
yeah, so yeah,
your household overhead as well.
yeah, definitely.
So what were you doing with the money prior to this baby coming and saving? Were you spending frivolously? Were you what was going on?
At
Where
that
you
time
could
frame, it was
then
just
save $10,000.
that time frame. It was just, I mean, it was like $100 put in each month for both of us. Not much at all. And also, but prior to the kids, because we had kids until our third year in our marriage, so we did a lot of traveling. We traveled a lot. We went out a lot, bowling. We did group activities. We traveled Orlando, Houston, Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? Which normally happens when you first get together, honeymoon phases. So you do a lot of traveling. And so, we were just at that time frame, we weren't really thinking about the future. We were just like living in the moment, right? And this is young. This is
Right.
young me. Like I said, knowing I know now, we still have been able to do those same things, but it'd have been more emphasis and put more to the side for later on. Like, hey, buy a house. Like, if we could save $10,000 back in 2012, guess how much money we could have saved in that time frame from 2012 all the way to 2021. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right. So I guess that's what I'm saying. What after the baby?
well,
What
after the
changed
baby
the
is, I
saving
mean,
energy?
so after the after
Because if you're prepared for the baby, then it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
okay.
we was definitely prepared for the baby. But what happened was, what I'm saying, she wanted to get back to work, but based on daycare, it didn't make no sense. So the pay went from two incomes coming in down to one.
Got it.
So
Right.
that's so
Right.
that's that's where the challenging part came in at.
Right. Right. Understood.
Right.
So when we talk about financial freedom, guys, and to you listening, thank you for joining us here on the Real Deal versus How You Feel with your girl Miss I Speak Life and Twins Inc. You guys are more than welcome to share your views on if you think it's easier to obtain financial freedom with a married, if you're married or single. Right. So we're talking about the pros and cons of the two based on, our experiences and our views and what we could do differently. We're solution based. So we're always looking for different solutions and different ways of reaching goals. So thanks again, guys, for coming and listening to us. And hopefully you'll join us. Right. So when you talk about marriage and obtaining this goal for a baby, do you think that the discussion, because you mentioned you guys didn't talk about credit till after marriage, right? And
Right.
maybe that's a typical married thing. I don't know. We don't have stats on all married couples and what they discuss, but we are able to speak from our perspectives, right? So, as a married couple, if you're not talking about credit until marriage, are you talking about the goal of financial freedom? Because I think that, we don't talk about financial freedom as a collective. Everyone now, you hear all this rhetoric about high earner man, high earner woman, when people are saying these words like it's so easy to obtain a loan, and maintain that type of lifestyle alone and then take that on for someone else. So, are you having those conversations? Is this part of the dating
Well,
dialogue?
right, right. So to even add to that, so back in 2009, there was no such thing as a high value man and high value woman at that time, right? See
Right.
that's the funny stuff, right? I mean, people put all this emphasis in these things, but where were these things 12 years ago? It wasn't there. Now
Right.
there was still people
My
working.
daddy never told me about high value, nothing.
Right.
He
It's this
missed that part.
right. I mean this
Or it didn't exist.
I mean it exists, but it's just a new wave. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole
It
alpha and
wasn't
beta man.
important. It wasn't
All
a
these things is
priority.
all of a sudden just new things that this a wave and everybody hold that with so much weight. I'm like, what was that shit at 10 years ago? Like, okay. But
Hmm.
anyway, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, when I got married, financial freedom, that's something that we didn't really like. I didn't think about it. That wasn't something that was presented
Hmm.
to us, right? Me, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I'm not gonna lie. When I got married and she was working, we had no kids, same job, and I know it was getting paid really good money. I'm like, oh man, we about to rack up. Especially once we moved in together. I said, oh man, because if I'm paying $1,000 a month and she paying $1,000 a month for her spot, we come together, there's gonna be an additional $1,000 sitting somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? That was my
Hmm.
whole concept. And then all the bills, we start
Hmm.
splitting it, not splitting in half, but it's like, I mean, it never couldn't split. I mean, before prior to kid or not, I always paid more. So if the if it was either 70, 30, 80, 20, I don't know about 50
Hmm.
50. I mean, maybe once in a while we may split some, but I always paid more because for some reason she's like, you make more than me. All right, whatever. Just give me whatever you got. That's
Yeah, I
how.
got the same job, right?
Right, same job. That's how I want. You know, just give me whatever, and I'll pay. I'll
But you
cover
know
the
that's
rest.
society. Society will pay a man more for the same job than he pays a woman. So that's fair. All is fair in love and basketball, baby.
So with that being said, right, like there was no conversation about, hey, you guys should do X, Y, Z, and like I said, we had the counseling before marriage and during the marriage. So the people that was speaking to us, whatever, that wasn't something they really outlined and like chalked down like, here, hey guys, in your first 3 years, you need to have X amount of dollars put to the side, and that's for emergency. That money you don't even play with. Like that wasn't any conversation that I was told to me. Knowing I know now,
Hmm.
when my son and my
Right. If
daughter, I'm
you
gonna
were
teach them.
a marriage counselor,
Yeah, right,
or you could even do that. You know, like you guys are successful marriage, work through whatever kinks. Not saying perfect marriage,
right,
but you're still going on strong. But I'll finish that when we
yeah,
after we press play because we want to engage with them.
definitely.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I might be coming in late, and this may have already been discussed. But for me, I think credit is something that should be taught. You should educate yourself first, because there's different levels of credit, housing credit, car credit, those are two different things. And then there's the credit line that they check when you're trying to buy a home or a car that's beneath that no one knows about. And that's your determining factor as to what you can afford, what they're going to approve you for. Um, and I just think it's a road that you should start on yourself. And then, if you're in the process of cleaning and fixing it up, when you get into a marriage, you guys come to an agreement and understand that this is one of the focuses. I don't think that it should be dropped on one person, but it is, a unit's goal if that's how it ends.
Now you right on time. You right on time. I agree. I agree.
Thank
Um,
you for the comment, Platinum Hands. We appreciate you coming and listening, dropping your take and your wisdom. And I agree as well. You
yeah.
know, I think that's what it is tough though. I agree, but I think that the aftermath or the backlash for that thought process as a single woman, what I'm hearing now, and again, I'm kind of new to the single woman thing, right? But what I've been hearing is that if this is my goal, my personal goal don't have nothing to do with a man, woman, boy, girl, or nothing is to own my own home, period. It's not attached to a year or attached to anyone else. It's just a goal that I've had since I've been a young girl. I want to own my own home. If I face some of these things, like I want to own my own home, or if I were to add a career or a degree to that, then we come into issues. So it's like, how far does that go? When you start to work on yourself and then you're presented with, well, this is who I am, or well, don't bring that up too soon. But if that's your goal, or it still gets a little sketchy. But I agree, I'm gonna work on me. I encourage my kids to work on them as individuals first and foremost. I just think it's a little different for men than it is for women.
Right. And also to add to that, Platinum Hands, thank you for your comment as well. And that's very important. She said there is different levels when it does come to the credit as far as car, housing, and everything else. And of course, education, that's something that we need to be taught at a young age so we know about it when we get into adulthood and then even before we get married, right? But also, you know, even when it comes to dating with a purpose, like this, like if you know you go dating somebody and you know you dating for a purpose, for an end goal, maybe marriage, whatever it may be. But if you know you're gonna be with a person for a long period of time, you know you're gonna work it out. You need to have a conversation early about credit. I mean, hell, before y'all move in together, I don't care, you know, it's apartment, whatever. Y'all need to have a conversation about credit because that can be a
Right.
headache later on down the line, and
Or a deal breaker.
or definitely a deal breaker. So credit score and student loans. You know, is there any garnishments? Anything about to happen? Like, don't blindside me with stuff that I'm not ready for. Right? Like,
Right.
we need to have open dialogue. So those are conversations that you
Or
need to
put me
have.
in a situation where I can't rely on you. If something happens, I can't even rely on your income because it's taking care of debt.
That part
So
too.
you take care of that debt before we create a lifestyle together, so that way we could have financial freedom. But then I think that's subjective to situation as well, because like she said, and also, I think you also said, if you are in a position where you could lend information
Hmm.
or that helping hand, like you said, well, here's some money toward this bill. I'll take care of one of the credit cards, you take care of the other two, whatever the deal may be. I think that's also, a real good way to look at it.
Yeah,
But I
because
don't know if you would do that before marriage, or if you guys are still saying that's definitely before marriage, or if that could happen after marriage as well.
I mean, it can happen before the actual marriage, while the dating stages, depending like if you're going to the route of, hey, I want to marry you, but before we like, like, all right, let's get married. But hold on, before I propose to you or whatever, or before we do the actual due date, here's the things we need to check off first before we actually do the actual thing, right? We could be engaged, but I'm not marrying you until these check marks is done. And I
Hmm.
think that's fair. I think we need to get away of,
So
oh, is
we
it too
talk.
soon to
It's
ask
almost
that
like
question?
changing the narrative about the boxes.
Hmm. Say that again.
I said it sounds like we're changing. It sounds like we're changing the narrative regarding the boxes. You know how the typical boxes is tall, dark, and handsome for some women. Now we're saying premarital counseling, credit counseling together as a couple. Now we're getting into things that really would help sustain a marriage and not the idea of marriage
So I'll
or
say
the
this.
wedding per
I'll,
se.
I'll say this: the tall, dark, and handsome, the pretty, long hair, thick, big butt, all that stuff. That's the pre-qualification, right? You know what I'm saying? You get the letter in the mail talking about, oh, you've been pre-qualified for $30,000. You know what I'm saying? You get that little. So that's that part, right? But then you don't get approved until you actually run that credit, right? So the pre-qualification is the looks. Okay, all right, you got the looks, you got your foot in the door. All right, perfect. All right, let's go to the next level. The next level is when we start running that credit
Can
check
you
and get,
accomplish these?
yeah. Can you get the loan? Can you get the loan they said you pre-qualify for? Because they can say you pre-qualify for, and then when they run the credit, oh, we're gonna give you $500. How you go from 30,000
Hmm.
to 500?
Right.
I need answers, Sway, but
But
honestly,
that's realistic.
all jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, you need to make sure the finances is in part. I mean, in play, it's together. If you want to have a healthy long term relationship, just do. And you need to ask these difficult. I mean, back then I would say it's difficult, but now I don't give a damn. What is your credit score? All right, how much you have debt? All right, and okay, and if something were to happen, I break my leg, I couldn't work for a year, will you be able to hold it down? If
Birth
they
my
if they
leg.
can't say no 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 to those things, you might want to step back and like, all right, cool, this is a good conversation, but I'm gonna move to the left and find the next applicant. I'm just serious. We gotta stop. We gotta stop settling because someone looks good or they're single. Nah, those things don't matter anymore because looks can't pay bills unless you're a model, or
Right, right.
or you have an OnlyFans account.
You doing a catwalk.
Whatever.
Right. No, I agree. I definitely agree. It's just what needs to happen is I'm still trying to figure out, like you said, the boxes. Okay, can you get the loan, and then it'll dumb down to like $500. I think that's part of what
Yeah.
we were saying in terms of settling. Period. When we
Hmm.
talk about people wanting these six-figure men or whatever, or vice versa, however it goes, but not willing to compromise, or not willing to live a fit lifestyle, be a Fitbit, or whatever the requirements are for those types of
That
folks.
right. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, okay, yeah, you might have some of these things, but you don't possess all of them.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where does it become a deal breaker when we're talking about reaching financial freedom. And of course, guys, we do know this is subjective, because your financial freedom might be 15K, you know, whereas
Facts.
on my financial freedom might be 55K. So it depends on where you are. Somebody else's financial freedom might just be able to maintain $500 in their account. So it does, it really depends on where you deem yourself financially free. Understanding, we already went over what the definition of, it was, right? Didn't we give the definition for like freedom, understanding
Yeah.
what that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And
So,
for me, mine is FIRE. And once again, FIRE, financial independence, retire early. And that's once again,
right.
to sum it up real quickly here, is to be able to save your weekly pays or bi-weekly pays or whenever you get paid, right, per paycheck, you could put 70% of your paycheck away and still survive after 30%. At that point, your financial independence. At that point, you can do whatever you want, when you want. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a fear of COVID, job loss, getting fired, none of those things, because you're in control of your independence. And you're able to do it early. Like, I want to be able to retire before I hit 65. I mean, of course, I know the age has bumped up over the years, but I want to be able to retire while I'm still in my 40s or 50s, right? That's the goal for me. I don't want to be late 70 or 65. I want to be early than that.
Right. And you said your fire stood for what for you, twin?
It means financial independence, retire early, and saving,
Oh, okay.
and be able to save 70% of my pay. So every time I get paid, I can put 70% away and live out 30%. And I did the numbers like you just did. I'm like, oh hell no, I can't do that right now.
Right.
No, no, no. But that's
No,
the
I'm
goal.
more at like a 32 percentile.
Yeah,
You know, got a ways to go.
yeah, right,
So,
right. And I mean, overall, it's just looking at things totally differently. Like, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to have that BMW. You don't need to have, you know what I'm saying? There's some things you just don't need to have. You don't need to have all them shoes. You just don't. You're going to drive one car at a time. You're going to wear one pair of shoes at a time. Like, let's be realistic. I think we're so busy focusing on trying to look rich than being rich or being wealthy. You
and
know what I'm
that's
saying?
guys and girls. You don't need that MCM bag. You don't need those new Jordans. You don't need the latest uh out of wear jacket, fitted. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I think it's just a mindset.
And any young people who decide who's listening, or any parents who's listening who's going to have kids and they want a vehicle, listen. In your early 20s, you don't want to be paying $300 for a car note or $600 for a car note and then $200 for insurance. It just, all your money is going away to a car that lost its value as soon as you pull it out the parking lot. As soon as you pull it out, the car might have cost 30,000. As soon as
Hmm.
you pull it out, oh, it's worth 25,000 now. I just drove out this. Hey, the depreciation just dropped. So you ride around this car,
Right. As soon as you
expensive.
touch that ground.
Yeah, you still got to get the oil change. You still got to get tires. You got to make sure no one else hits you. So it just, you have to really think about what you really want out there. Stop watching these TV shows and
Right.
thinking, that's what it is. But yep.
Right. And then we still have to talk to those. Let's say, for instance, we have the disciplined folks, right?
Hmm.
And the income is just not sustainable, right? They have to try other means of gaining income. You don't want to just have people. You don't want to make it seem like we just think people don't have mature levels or are undisciplined, right?
Hmm.
So for those mature folks that may be listening, or disciplined folks that may be listening, ways of earning additional income or saving while you're on a fixed, let's just say, income, meaning you have a 9 to 5 that barely or only meets your overhead, right? So I've been there. And what I say is there are little odd jobs that you can pick up. One for me that definitely worked was Uber, right? I'll tell this to anybody anywhere. Miss I Speak Life was able to make an $11,000 come up on Uber in 2019 untaxed dollars. Okay, because I didn't meet the threshold for Uber for 1099. So that's 11 extra $1,000 a year, and it's actually what made it where I could come back, balance up, and God, definitely because I believe in God, He's a provider. But if I were to tell you all of what I went through just to be able to have that little bit of an extra boost, man, listen, twins, I don't know if you know of anyone that may be able to, those that are old enough to drive, have a car, decent car, whatever. But that was definitely one. Postmates or whatever it's called. I didn't do any like Uber Eats or any Door Dashes or anything like that. I just drove Uber, but it definitely helped for I did it June to November,
Oh, I'm right. I mean, listen,
June to
you can
July,
make
August.
some easy money right now in this pandemic right now, and because everyone's home, right?
So that's only 5, 6 months.
Right. You can make a lot of money because a lot of people are home. So people are doing the DoorDash. People are ordering a lot to Amazon. Amazon is crazy. So
Hmm.
you can deliver cars and you can deliver packages in your own vehicle. Just
Right.
if you have a car and you can drive, you can make money. Will it take time?
Yeah.
Yes. But,
Yeah.
you know, you got to put the
But
work
it's
in.
something I was able to do while still studying,
Hmm.
while still I was still studying. I wasn't doing it working a full-time job. I had got laid off. It was like what I started to do right after,
Hmm.
but I was still a full-time student. So, there was still a dedication of full-time hours, and I still was able to work, some hours in the morning, some hours in the evening, still get my studies, all of those things. So there's really no excuse. If you have the means, then now you have the information, you can go out and make that extra money. And what you need to learn, and the point of me saying all of that is, if you have that discipline, you won't increase your lifestyle. You'll live that same lifestyle. If you're able to manage living off of $1,200 a month, you'll keep living off your $1,200 a month. That $600, $800 increase for Uber, you'll put that money to the side, or anything. It doesn't have to be Uber, guys. I'm just saying, using that as an example.
Yeah,
But
Uber, Lyft,
like
or
Twin said, there's a lot of different ways. I just read up on one. I don't want to promote. I don't stand behind this as I did the Uber thing because I just read it, but I'll share. It said you can make $100 to $400 a week being teaching English or something like that.
hmm
They have this little life hack, So look into different things, and expose yourself a little differently because everything's not that Indeed office job or that blue collar position. There are a lot of what do you call it? People looking for virtual assistants where you just you connect with them and you work from home and you're assisting them in different ways as well. So maybe everything's not a car ride, but
right.
just saying. Just want to give as much solution as possible. I think it was a healthy conversation that we've had, and just compare and contrast in terms of what would be easier. They both can be done. That's clear.
Listen,
You can definitely
I saw
reach
someone,
financial freedom.
I saw someone
Go ahead.
people get paid for this reading people's papers. Like proofreading. I saw something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you have that eye, that's not Miss I Speak Life. Matter of fact, I could use those services when it comes to really. I could use those services right now. Actually, I just finished my mission and vision statements, and I just want to make sure, and not just my mission and vision for the company, but for each independent resource. And I'm like, I could definitely use a pair of fresh eyes on that. So
Hmm.
I could see that really being lucrative. You know. So yeah, I hope that you guys got your pen and paper out and you took down the word fire, the acronym. Twinsinc shared. Also, if you took down some information, Michelle shared some gems as well in
Platinum
terms of the
hands.
different types of credits. Platinum hands, sorry. Thanks, sis. She shared some gems as well in terms of just educating yourself on the
Credit
different
score.
types of
Hmm.
credit.
Hmm.
Yeah, and how that looks because they're different. And then we gave insight on little odd jobs that could definitely present an additional income and not cost you down the line with a heavy tax hit and things like that. So it could really be beneficial for gaining some leverage with your savings versus overhead. So I think this has been a really healthy show.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think we hit a lot,
Yeah.
and I hope, like I said, hope people was paying attention and took some notes because a lot of things were said. I gave some life experience, so I just didn't say things just so it could sound good. I went through my own personal relationship. Like, listen, these are things that
Right.
wasn't told to me. I didn't know. When I had my counseling, they didn't say about put X amount of dollars to the side, figure out how y'all be financial
Mm.
free. These, and think about it now. I'm like, dang, they didn't teach me that. How come like that? How you missed that part,
Now we
right?
need that's a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother conversation.
Counselors, do's and don'ts.
Right. Right.
or just to consider, like, what type of counselor do you want? Do you want a counselor that's in, I know this was an issue for me, and this is just real quick, right?
Yeah.
In my relationship, when we were thinking about going to see a counselor, the issue that really prevented us from actually making the full step was, do we want one that's in church? Do we want one that's just completely neutral? And it was just really like that type of battle, because it's like, do you want to go get wise counsel according to scripture, right? Or do you just want to go to a counselor? And it was just back and forth, back and forth.
But
Then it's like, well, what do we need a counselor for? We
that
can
right
talk
there,
about it. Like,
right
what?
there, and that's the problem. Like,
Let's just
how
have
you
a
how you gonna know?
conversation.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how you know? Like, do we need a financial counselor, a marriage
Right,
counselor? You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Like, 'cause
right,
you don't know. I didn't know. So
right.
how can I go back and say you did me wrong? I mean, I can't now based on life experience, but at that time frame, you really don't know who you should be speaking to. But
Right, right.
if you listen
So now
today,
this is definitely something to listen to and to take into consideration.
right
Like
now,
I said, this is additional check boxes for me.
right.
When it comes to, you get past that first infatuation. Oh, he cute a little bit. Oh, he was nice. Okay.
Well, just
I
know
will.
if
What's
you
your credit score?
just know if you listen to the real deal versus how you feel, you're getting some gems right now for free. Some free game. Right now
Right.
you're getting that.
Free game.
So
Right.
but ladies and gentlemen,
And
thanks for tuning in today. But go ahead, Mr. Spitlife, you can close us out.
no, I was closing this out. I was gonna say, and I hope that you guys, took those gems down. That's all I was about to say. But we about to get out of here.
Yep. So we're live Wednesday and Friday this week at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I think Friday is when we won't have that one fire topic. It's about when you're dating, which role does your significant other plays? Remember the food man.
Hmm. Now we might not be here Wednesday, because my son's birthday is on
Oh,
Wednesday.
okay, okay, okay,
Not really sure how that day is gonna go.
okay.
But
Got
we'll let you guys know. We'll put the
yes.
show out there and everything.
Okay.
But definitely Friday, we got a hot topic. We already know. I know we don't have a pre-discussion about it, so it's always organic dialogue here. You
Yes.
know. All right. Anything else, Twin?
Follow us on IG at the real deal versus how you feel at gmail.com. Well, at let me go back, people. We're on follow us on IG at the real deal versus how you feel on IG. You can send us an email at the real deal versus how you feel at gmail.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well at the real deal versus how you feel at. I keep saying at the real deal versus how you feel at
Oh
YouTube.
no, that's it. It's
That's
just
it.
real deal
That's it.
versus how you feel.
Hey, it's a name across the
Follow
board.
us on IG and YouTube. Send us an email at the real deal versus how you feel at gmail.com. And definitely continue to come here on stereo Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard
There you
Time,
go.
because this is where we'll be, with the exception of this Wednesday coming. We'll let you guys know. We appreciate all of the listeners. We appreciate you again, Platinum Hands, for your input. Bye. You guys have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye.